James Cook University is uniquely situated on the Great Barrier Reef, and bordering the reef is the Daintree rainforest. Both of those are World Heritage listed areas, and with the enormous biodiversity that surrounds us here, there are unique opportunities for drug discovery, and that's really what we're trying to do, in harnessing tropical flora and fauna in the search for new drugs for modern day diseases. My name's Alex Lucas. I work at James Cook University, where I'm a Professor of Tropical Biotechnology. James Cook University is uniquely situated in the tropics. We're one of just 2 universities in tropical Australia, and the project I'm working on is using parasitic worms to treat inflammatory diseases. We can think of the Great Barrier Reef as the most amazing ecosystem. It is incredibly diverse and rich, but also highly sensitive. If you fiddle with just one aspect, you take one species out, you can have profound knock-on effects. We can think of the human body in very much the same way. If we were standing here 100 years ago, most of us would be full of worms, parasitic worms and other parasites. We've interrupted evolutionary processes, if you like, and we've taken worms out of the equation. And as a result, people are now starting to suffer from inflammatory diseases, autoimmune diseases, allergies. We're seeing an epidemic of these diseases, which we did not see 50 years ago. I started working on worms about 20 years ago, so I've had a fascination, a love affair with worms for a long time now. And the worm is so good at regulating inflammation and protecting itself. We thought, well, if we can't get rid of these worms, can we potentially harness them and use millennia of coevolution to design new drugs for treating inflammatory diseases?
About 2 years ago, Alex came to me with an invention discovery at that point in time. It was around a protein that he thought had a possibility to become a therapeutic. From that, we approached several different pharma companies, and at a meeting about 2 years ago, we did the initial pitch to Johnson Innovation around a therapeutic protein that could potentially treat inflammatory bowel disease.
In the last 30 years, we've been confronted with an absolute change in disease patterns. Whereas before we were worried about infectious disease, now we're confronted with autoimmune disease. And these are chronic diseases that cause an enormous amount of distress for a huge number of people, and they're a great cost to the health system. So disease patterns have changed. It's an unmet need. We've got to develop new drugs to treat these diseases. And at the moment, we've just got drugs that manage them. We don't have any drugs that cure these diseases.
You just need to look at nature. Nature has a lot of things to offer. We just need to harness it. We know that hookworms are very potent in protecting us from inflammation. The interest is not to work with hookworms, so we know that they produce substances that are healing. So we're trying to harness those substances, identify what they are, and test them to see what properties they have, and see if they can be developed into a potential drug.
It's really a difficult and challenging process to get a molecule from the initial concept through to a final product. Universities are typically very good at developing ideas, but that's really where it stops. Pharma companies are built around doing this very thing, so working with Johnson Innovation is perhaps, you know, the gold standard of what we can do in this area. Their intellectual contribution is probably more important to this project than the dollars they're actually kicking in.
We can think of scientific endeavour and drug discovery research as an ecosystem as well. We've got big pharma, we've got universities, we've got small biotech and development people working across all those platforms, ideally working together to develop drugs in the most efficacious way and get them through to market as quickly as possible to the patients who really need them. If we could put a drug on the market that gave people with inflammatory bowel disease hope and gave them some sort of restoration of a normal life, I would feel very, very satisfied.